Welcome to Strategic Insights, strategic guidance for life's most important decisions with attorney Alan Eighmey.
Hello and welcome to Strategic Insights, strategic guidance for life's most important decisions with attorney Alan Eighmey. Alan and his team focus on estate planning, probate, trust administration, and conservatorships. I am your host, Kevin Rosenquist, and today's episode is Skilled Nursing, the intersection of skilled nursing and estate planning, California's unique challenges. Alan, welcome back. Good to see you.
Great to be here. Thanks, Kevin.
What exactly is skilled nursing?
Skilled nursing is where individuals have to go when they're deficient in some of the necessities of life where they can't necessarily take care of themselves and just need extra assistance in the day-to-day things of living, like feeding themselves, clothing themselves, transferring maybe from the bed to a wheelchair, or, the ability to get to the bathroom, all of those kinds of things. And if you can't, manage those things for yourself and you're unable to really kind of take care of yourself at home, a skilled nursing facility is the place where generally people have to go to get the care that they need until either they can get back up on their feet and get back home, or sometimes it's a place where they just have to stay because they never are able to get back into shape enough to be able to go home and take care of themselves.
Skilled nursing care can be incredibly expensive. We've all heard the stories before from friends or family or anybody else that's gone through it. How does that factor into the larger picture of a family's estate plan?
Yeah. So, families work their whole lives to, save up some money or buy a house or those kinds of things. And the big issue when you're doing your estate plan is you do have to plan for the contingency of possibly needing to go into skilled nursing. I think the statistic is over 70% of people age 65 or older need skilled nursing at some point in their life. And so it can be very expensive. I mean, the cost for a skilled nursing facility is, as you all know, is anywhere between generally $8,000 to $12,000 a month and up. And it's a super expensive hotel,
Yeah.
And
no bar. That's the worst part, right?
Exactly. There's no bar. And no. So you really can drain even, a family who has, done pretty well for themselves can drain their resources pretty quickly. And, what do you do and how do you pay for that? And, because your family or loved one really needs that care, So part of an estate plan is to be able to put together a plan in a way that not only protects your assets, but maybe sets it up in a way so that you can get some government assistance to help pay for those extraordinary costs without really kind of using up every resource that you have worked your whole life to earn and make.
Can you walk us through Medi-Cal and how that plays a role in covering these costs in California?
Yeah, so Medi-Cal is the California version of Medicaid, and it helps individuals pay for medical care when they can't afford to pay for it themselves. And California is very interesting in that our rules differ from every other state in the country. And so when, I talk to a lot of clients, they'll Google stuff because, Google knows everything. And they'll say, well, wait a second, I have to do this and I have to do that. But the rules in California are actually just changed recently. And so in California, there's no asset limit that you have to meet anymore in order to qualify for skilled nursing for long-term care. So previously, you had to spend down your resources or kind of hide them away until you were down to like $2,000, and then Medi-Cal would kick in for you. Now here in California, there's no need to do that spend down. The Department of Healthcare Services now in California, they don't care how much money you have in the bank. So you literally could have $1 million in the bank and 5 houses, 10 cars, and qualify for assistance in paying for long-term care, which is really kind of amazing. Not that many of my clients have that kind of assets. But what California really looks at now is what's called your share of costs. And what that is the amount of income that you make and will go towards paying your portion of the long-term care bill. So you could have, a few $100,000 in the bank, but if you're just living on Social Security and you're getting, $2,000 a month in Social Security, Department of Health Care Services will let you have that money in the bank. They won't ask you to use that for your care, but they'll take that $2,000 a month, apply it towards your bill, and pay for the rest on long-term care. So.
Are there other eligibility requirements for Medi-Cal?
No, not in California, not for long-term care, but there are things that, pitfalls that families really have to kind of watch out for that on this. And with these kind of new rules, families really kind of don't look at possibly doing the planning that they need to protect them. Because, for example, if mom's, sick and, we have to get her into a long-term care facility and, she was in a hospital, they transfer her to a facility. The facility says, hey, she's going to have to stay here. And we, first thing is like, oh, how much is this going to cost mom? And if they tell us that, hey, Medi-Cal will cover this, that's a big relief off of a family. And so they're not going to think about possible next steps. But one of the things in California is that if you have to probate mom's estate after she passes away, the state's going to say, hey, we spent, $300,000 paying for mom's care. And, we're going to, through this probate process, ask you to pay it back to us. And so families really, really have to kind of look at the next step. And in California, the easy way to protect that is by not having your estate go through probate, which is by having just a simple trust. So that would avoid the Department of Health Care Services collecting on that money later on.
For families who do need to transition a loved one into skilled nursing care, are there other key estate planning strategies that will help protect the assets and still allow them to qualify for Medi-Cal?
Yeah, as I stated, having just even a simple trust in place will help protect their assets after their loved one passes. But the other thing that we really want to look at when they do that is, remember I told you that they look at income, and income comes from all different sources. Perhaps I have my Social Security, maybe I get some money from my IRA, maybe I have money, maybe I have a rental house or two, and I get income from that. All of a sudden, if you take all those income streams that I have and apply that to my share of cost, well, then I'm going to be paying for everything. And they're, the state's really not helping much with anything. But if you have stuff, especially like a rental income, one of the key things that we can do is we can put that in a special irrevocable trust. That way the rent from that rental income goes and actually belongs to the trust. So it's no longer my income. So it doesn't have to get paid for the share of cost on that. And that would allow that money to be used, because if you own a rental, of course, you're going to have property taxes and all of that actually come out of the cost of that, right? It's not like it's all profit. So that would allow them to be able to keep, that rental income and the rental property without having to, affect and actually get them more benefits for the long-term care and skilled nursing. And, there's different things we can do with people's IRAs to kind of get that. So it's not really a revenue income stream, but that's something that kind of builds up. So that money is there to help them down the road, if they need that as well, too. So
when it comes to the family home, that's something obviously that comes up with people when they need to access skilled nursing care. How can families structure their estate plan to protect that home, especially for maybe if there's a spouse who's still well?
Right. Yeah. And that's important to do. And so one of the key things that you want to do on that, as well as I stated earlier, is to make sure that, the house is in their trust, and so that it doesn't go through probate in California. And that way the Department of Healthcare Services can't touch it, even when mom's in there and even after she passes away, so that she has a place to stay and that things can be, that she has a place to live while perhaps, dad is in the skilled nursing facility.
Are there misconceptions that you run across often about the way Medi-Cal works, particularly about protecting the home from being sold?
Yeah, a lot of people think that, that if mom goes into the nursing home, that the state's going to, come in and take the house and do those kinds of things. And that's, just not necessarily true and can be kind of fixed with some planning on doing that. The big thing, like I said, in California is we're a probate collection state. So you want to be able to avoid probate to be able to protect that home and still be able to, get the benefits that you need. One of the big concerns a lot of people have with that too is in California, if dad has to go into skilled nursing and mom is living at home, they're afraid, well, if they take this money, this share of cost from dad's income, mom's not going to have enough money to live in the house, right? And so there's what they call minimum maintenance, a minimum monthly maintenance needs allowance that the well spouse is allowed to keep. And currently that's like around $3,800, $3,854 or something like that. And so, for example, say dad had, $4,000 in Social Security and mom had $1,000 in her Social Security, mom would be able to keep enough of dad's Social Security to get him up to that whole $3,854. But this is California, and so the cost of living is pretty high here. And a lot of our seniors, they don't have their homes paid off, so they might even have a mortgage on that now, and that might not be enough money for mom to live on. And so there's things that we can do to petition the court and those kinds of stuff to get that amount raised up so that that minimum maintenance allowance that mom's able to keep is even higher than what the law allows, so that she's not, left indigent somewhere or loses their home. But these are just extra steps that need to be taken that families need to kind of look in, and that's something that has to be really kind of proactively done on their part. And, literally takes an act of a judge, to get taken care of. So that's one of the biggest things that we work with to try to help families, especially if there's a well spouse and one that needs care.
In these situations, do you find that your clients typically wait too long to address what they need to address?
Yeah. So what I find a lot of times in these situations is it just becomes, last minute and very emergency. And not that things can't be taken care of at the last minute when it's a big emergency, but number one, it puts a lot of stress on the families that way. To be honest, it puts a lot of stress on me to get it done quickly and get them taken care of. And actually, is by failing to plan that way, it really ends up costing them, a little bit more in the long run, where maybe they have to deplete some of their assets, paying stuff out of pocket more beforehand than they would have if they had pre-planned these things and had stuff in place that it would be an easy way to move these assets around and take care of them.
So everyone listening, be proactive.
Yes, exactly.
That's the lesson here. All right. Well, thank you for tuning in to Strategic Insights, strategic guidance for life's most important decisions with attorney Alan Eighmey. To connect with Alan, head to strategic-law.com, and please be sure to like, subscribe, and review our channel here. Alan, thanks so much for being here. Looking forward to the next one.
Awesome. Thanks, Kevin.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button and leave us a review in the comments.